Alrighty guys, here's a video review for something a little off the beaten path again. This is the CHOGATTAI King Mickey and Friends Robo, or King Robo Mickey and Friends. But basically it's a Chogokin Mickey Mouse combined and Friends mech combiner. Kind of, like I said, a little off the beaten path. But kind of cool. Not without its flaws, and we'll get to those. But it comes packaged in a nice little box with a really solid styrofoam tray inside of it, which was kind of nice. You get the instruction booklet, which walks you through the process, all in Japanese, but very detailed pictures. Teach you through it. Also, if you get one of the early ones, you get this little envelope inside of there, and inside the envelope is a little pack of 6 different postcards that show all of the people in their mech piloting outfits. Again, kind of neat. So you've got Mickey Mouse piloting Jet Mickey, Minnie Mouse in Sky Minnie, Donald Duck in Diver Donald, Daisy in Aqua Daisy, Pluto in Dash Pluto, and Goofy in Land Goofy are the mech names. So yeah, just a neat little addition. They are actual postcards. You can send them to somebody if you want. I don't know why you want to. They're neat little art pieces, but yeah. So you get a picture of all of them in their little pilots. So I'm get these back in the envelope here. And so you've got these little robotic mechs, and what's neat is each of them have, it's kind of hard to see just due to the cockpit, but right now you can see Pluto's eyes. Let's see, is Mickey a little easier to show off? Yeah, you can kind of see Mickey's eyes in there, right there and right there. But they all have little levers on the back of their heads that slide around. And I don't know if you can tell, but they rotate the cockpit material behind the windscreen there, their eyes, and now you can see there's a little it's kind of show up, but now there's a little Mickey in there piloting the mech, which is really neat. They all have their own little selves inside the cockpit of the mech, which is the eyes. You kind of see Mickey in there now, and then again rotate it around. Let me get the lever here. Rotate the whole cockpit around, bring his eyes back to the forward. There you go, just like that. And they all have it. I'm not going to do that for every single one of them. It would take a while just to get my fingernail back in there and slide them all around. But you get the idea. And they've all got it. It's pretty neat. Steamboat Willie, as you can see, is, or Ace Willie as he's called in this one, who forms the head, is very wee. Very small. You also get an extra set of fists. These closed fists actually come attached to Minnie or Daisy and Donald. But the open fists are what hold the weapons. Or the accessories in combined mode, so and they store just as well. They store up there under the butt, and it's just a matter of popping off. There's a ball joint up in here. It's just a matter of popping them off the ball joint, popping the other one on, if you want to swap them out. Very easy. I'm just going to go ahead and leave the open ones on for the sake of showing everything off, but know that you can display. Personally, I think for just display, I think the closed fists look a little better. But then otherwise, if you don't have them holding the accessories, then they're just in a pile somewhere. I'd rather have a little pile of, or keep track of 2 little fists, which I can just throw back in the box, than have like a whole bunch of stuff piled off to the side. But just know that it is an option. So they're decently posable. You got some leg movement, some heel movement. There is some waist swivels on most of the mechs, except for I think Goofy. Does Goofy have his waist swivel? Oh no, Goofy's got a little bit of one, not much because of his the way he's built, but he does have a little bit. I know all of these guys do because they have to. Well, I guess Minnie doesn't. Yeah, because they transform, Minnie doesn't. But Donald, Daisy, and Mickey all have waist swivels. Pluto's got he doesn't have his posability in this foot. He just can move right here, but he does have some movement in his rear leg as well. And then this is just Pluto's house with the dream stick, and we'll get to that in a minute. So let's just start from the bottom up. And we'll start off with Pluto here. And to transform him into a mech mode, you just want to lift his head. I actually want to leave his head like this. Yeah, like this. Fold the legs. Actually, no, I take that back. His head can lift up like that. He's supposed to be like, there we go. There he is in Pluto mode. When you bring his neck down like that, there we go. Bring the whole hindquarters up. This ball, his tail comes down, plugs into right there. It doesn't really plug in. It just kind of sits in that notch, but it goes right in there. These feet come down. Actually, these feet come up over like this, and then these feet come to the back. And that's his foot mode. Very simple. And also not a whole leg. So we go ahead and we pop the magic wand stick off of here. We open up the open this up, and right here, this little piece wherever this hinge is also clips on. So you just pull this straight out. You can see that clips onto the hinge there. Just pull this right off. This piece you open up like this. Open up the front door here if I can get my fingernail underneath it. There we go. And then you flip this handle down, and that becomes a magic mirror shield. Along with these are the two accessories for the mech. Set those off to the side. The doghouse itself, you fold these down. You bring this down like that. Snap this together like this. Bring this over. You can kind of see where we're going with this. And then this slides onto Pluto like this. And now you've got Pluto, his upper leg, and the crotch piece for the giant mech. For King Robo Mickey, I guess. If you want to be supremely accurate. I guess you kind of do. I don't know. So we'll set that off to the side. But he can, right now, he can kind of stand by himself. The other leg is Goofy, and he does form the whole leg. So we just bring his arms back and tab him on right here. Flip his head up and rotate it around like this. Bring his whole lower body forward like this. And then the legs, you can see there's a little sliding lever right here. You slide those all the way down and then snap them together like that. And then right up in here, he's got a couple tabs that this piece right here tabs right into, and now you have the lower body of the mech. Now, it's more pronounced when you get it all together, but you can kind of see Goofy's just a little bit longer than Pluto. So once you have everything on top, he tends to lean to one side. I've gotten at some point that to stand straight, and maybe I can do that again for the video, but I have no idea how I did it. I just fiddled with it, and one day it ended up standing up straight, and I left it like that. So, but there you go. There's the lower half of the mech from Pluto and Goofy. Now the top part is where it gets really crazy. So you take, well, Donald and Daisy aren't super crazy. They just form the arms. But yeah, you lift this up, lift his body up, rotate it around, flip the feet all the way up, flip the hand down, and then the feet fold down around like this to kind of cover up that open gap there in the forearm. This comes up like this. There we go. Did I have it turned around wrong? Oh well. I'll flip his head around, lift it up like that, so his head kind of ends up on the shoulder. And these arms fold up on top and flip up like that. And there is one arm, just like that. And again, you've got a little bit of posability here and how you position this. This is you can see here. Here's the tab that is supposed to let the arms rotate up. Do not rotate them once it's combined. If you want it in a certain position, pull it out and kind of pull this out and rotate it to whatever angle you want it at, because it's really hard to rotate. At least it is right now. Maybe if I wore the teeth down it would help, but right now it's really hard to rotate and you'll end up snapping pieces. But yeah, there's Donald as an arm, and Daisy's exactly the same, just in reverse. You can also, if you choose, if you just want to fill in some space, you can fold these underneath if you prefer not to have the arm sticking up here. Personal preference. The instructions say go up top, so I'm going up top. Like that. Flip that down. And there is Daisy as an arm. Setting off to the side. Now Mickey, here's where it starts getting crazy. You want to pull this piece down like this, or actually you gotta rotate him all the way around to the waist, then pull this up like this. These wings come down. Underneath that, rotate his fist up and under like this. Make sure these little clips rotate around. Now these clips can pop off. They're designed to snap off. So if it pops off and it hasn't cracked, don't worry. It just clips right back onto the arm. Bring those up like that. Turn his head around. and bring it down like this. And like I said, the legs are where it gets really nuts. Pull these around to the side, because this is going to form the rest of the crotch plate for the giant robot. But then his legs you want to bring up and rotate so they're curving upward. Lift them up, rotate them like this. Then the legs extend, and here's where you want to be careful because it gets a little thin. Here's where the legs extend on these little thin pegs up like this, which then clip in to these clips on the arms. So you got to line them up right and clip them into those clips. The clips are really more like the clips aren't structurally sound. They're not going to hold these in place if anything else fails. They're mostly there just to make sure you've got the feet in the right position. And then just kind of angle them up like this. We're going to snap them on to Minnie here in a minute. So there's Mickey all ready to go. Now Minnie, here's where most of my issues with this figure lie. There's some size issues which we'll get to in a minute. As you can see, like here, I forgot to show you off, but here they are next to a deluxe transformer. They're not big. Like they're way smaller than I expected when I opened up the box. But her backpack, I've squeezed some glue up in here just to solidify this one. This one right here, you can kind of see this tab over here. Let's see if I can zoom in and get it. I had to glue some reinforcement struts underneath it because right out of the package, without even doing anything, this tab, which is where the feet plug into which support the arms, had snapped right here by the backpack. And I've also seen people have had the backpack snap off right up here. So it's just a fragile piece. And really the plastic on this really is, you can tell it's by feeling it, it is fragile. So I've glued this back together with some epoxy, and I've put some strengthening supports on the one that snapped. And just as a preventative measure, I went ahead and squeezed some glue in between this peg and the back of the wing. It's unnoticeable, unless you're really looking up under the wing, which you're not really going to see in combined mode. But it was just to support that, just to keep it, because it doesn't take much pressure bending to snap it. At least I assume not, because like I said, this one was busted right out of the package. So yeah, just something to be careful for. The backpack on Minnie is very fragile. I've heard reports of breakage. I don't know if it's just this backpack or what. So something to be careful of. But when you get it, do be careful of the backpack because it can snap very easily. But we lift up the whole backpack like this. We lift up her little her front piece here. It's in the form of jet booster. And then her legs extend out, and again, you want to be careful here because they're pretty solid plastic, but they are thin. So like I said, they're there compared to a finger. They're not in focus, which is also something that would benefit, I'm sure. So yeah, they extend out here. Lift this piece up, and then you pull the whole arm out, and basically you kind of massage the backpack. There's clips here on either side of the backpack, and you just want to bring that down until that leg snaps right in like that. And then you do the same on the other side. The legs are the same length, so once you get one side, the other side should come in just fine. Then just lift her head up so it's facing straight back. Bring her arms down. Make sure this peg is facing straight out like that between her heels. And then her legs at the knee bend open, and then her feet split apart and open to form the little side like shoulder armor for the mech. And once that's done, you take her. She's got two pegs right here, and this peg that peg into right here in the back of Mickey's head. And then his feet, you're going to rotate his feet around. I forgot that part. Right here, there's a ball joint. Don't rotate the whole silver piece, just the gold foot part. You can see the ball joint right here. Rotate that around. And then those tabs I was telling you about that broke on Mickey peg into the feet, which is why you need them to be solid. There's a couple little peg holes there on his feet. So we take this, and it's easy. It's easier if you plug in these two first, and everything else should line up. So focus on getting those two into their slots there on Mickey. And once those peg in, you can peg in the foot, peg in the head here, and then the feet, like I said, peg into those tabs. You kind of want to wiggle them. Don't force them because, again, you don't want to risk snapping those tabs. But they just peg right onto those tabs. If I can get this one on here. All right. And there you have the torso piece, which the arms peg right into the feet. Now there's a little notch on the back of each foot opening that corresponds to a notch in the arm in the arm mode. That notch is only on one side. There's some that run this way, but only one runs this way parallel with a peg. So you want to make sure that one's at the back of the arm and peg it in here. It doesn't stay in solidly. It stays in enough that you can do it, but it's not going to fall out, but it's not super secure. Like you pull the arm out and it pops out. Also, like I said, here's where if you want to position the arms, pull it out, move this where you want it, and then peg it back in. Because if you twist here, it pushes pressure on that foot, which in turn puts pressure on that peg, which again, as I mentioned, can snap. So just be careful and take care of your toys, and you should be fine. Oh, okay. We'll go ahead and just take this here. You take Mickey, he pegs in. There's a right here that snaps up into here, and then lift this crotch piece up a little bit because it's going to plug in over this. Plug that in. There we go, and we'll go ahead and finish plugging Daisy in. I only do this because her feet kind of sit in that little. I mean, they're not supposed to, but they can sit in this little notch right here. So I want to make sure that that was there, and not have to try to plug it in around her. Lift that up a little bit. There we go, and then you close up the pants here. Oh, I guess they already closed up, but you push these panels up against the crotch piece, and again, this Mickey's little skirt forms like a jet thruster on the back of the robot. You can angle that down, as well as her hands form kind of these little jet boostery jetpack wings here on the side, or thrusters, I guess, on either side of the body. Plug Daisy back in. And Steamboat Willie here forms the head. You split open the two sides here, flip his face down, just like that, and peg it on. And there he is, all combined, King Robo Mickey. And then you just take the shield, and it can be held in one hand, and the stick, the dream stick, goes in this hand. You take the little Mickey pants off and put them on. And there, oh, let's see, like I said, arms, display piece fine, but you're not going to get a whole lot of play out of them. You know, you're not going to roughhouse play with them. And there you have King Robo Mickey all combined. And again, he's a little smaller than I expected. Here he is with the with Deluxe Jazz. He's bigger than a Voyager. He's roughly old Ultra Class size. If you remember that, so like he's basically Beastworth depth charge, Rampage height. So a little smaller than I expected, especially for the price. Some neat design elements. Like I said, the arms don't hold on very well. And you've got to be very, very careful with Minnie's backpack, at least the first few times until you get it down, because you don't want to inadvertently snap anything. And like I said, mine was snapped in package. That's a little disappointing. Not, you know, like, I got it from TFsource. It's not their fault. I've emailed them about possibly getting a replacement. I don't know what the deal is, but I managed to fix it, and I think I've actually even made it stronger now, so now I'm not worried about it at all. So if you want to do some preventative maintenance and put a little like epoxy or something in that gap just to hold those tabs in place, it wouldn't hurt, because you're not going to see it if you do it right, and it's going to make that whole structure a lot more solid. So yeah, it's a neat idea. The execution is a little rough. If you're into Disney, you're going to like it. And individually, I think individually the mechs are great. I think they're fun little robot versions of Mickey characters. The combined mode suffers a little bit. It's not perfect, but and at the price, you know, it's really up to you as to how much you like Disney is really what it boils down to. But I like it. I mean, it's grown on me. Once I got everything fixed and now I'm not afraid to transform it, I think it's kind of a nifty little figure. It's not perfect. It's expensive, so it's really up to you. But if you're into Disney, you're probably going to like it. But there it is, the King Robo Mickey Combiner.